Do we see cultural appropriation being portrayed in the world of sports, and if so, what is being done about it? In a world where people everywhere are fighting against racial and social inequalities, the idea of cultural appropriation seems to be front and center. However, one aspect of cultural appropriation gets easily overlooked. Sports teams across the nation and even in other countries are using Native Americans as their mascots. These teams include the Washington Redskins and the Cleveland Indians. First, let me define cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation, as defined by Oxford University, is, quote, a term used to describe the taking over of creative or artistic forms, themes, or practices by one cultural group from another. It is in general used to describe Western appropriations of non-Western or non-white forms and carries connotations of exploitation and dominance, unquote. By adopting certain aspects of a culture, it puts them front and center, and for people who don't get the opportunity to meet a diverse mix of people in their everyday lives, it gives them a skewed perception of what a particular culture is about. The use of Native Americans as mascots has been proven to cause young Native American people a loss of pride and self-worth. In a 2008 study done by psychologists at Stanford University, University of Michigan, and University of Arizona, showed that Native children, quote, experience depressed states of self-esteem and community worth, unquote, when it came to logos depicting Native Americans. Not only does it decrease children's sense of pride in their heritage, it also leaves natives with the constant reminder of how they are a forgotten people who, to others, are nothing more than just a mascot. One researcher from the 2008 study wrote, quote, mascots are harmful because they remind American Indians of the limited ways others see them, and in this way constrain how they can see themselves, unquote. Many people think of Native Americans as savage people who were just the enemies of the cowboys or Halloween costumes, but in reality they are still around and are still heavily involved in their traditional practices today. In Source 1, paragraph 15, Yozushi said, when talking about appropriation of Native American culture, quote, is it theft at all when the original value is still felt by the native tribe? Little substance has been taken away. While yes, that's true, the original value can still be felt by the tribe, and while nothing physical has been taken away, one thing that has been taken away is Native children's sense of self-pride and self-worth. Along with that, it also takes away from Native culture because it puts a stereotype front and center. Source 1 and 6 have a common theme in talking about expressing to others the rights and wrongs in societies when it comes to culture and other races. Source 6 promotes talking to your kids at an early age about different races and how to approach them in their everyday lives. How do we expect kids to take it when they see Native Americans being depicted in racist cartoons and placed with the term redskin, which has been defined by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary as a, quote, racial slur to describe Native Americans and is to not be used, unquote. One way people have tried to get teams to change their names is by protesting. During the 2016 World Series, people were protesting outside of Progressive Field before games 1 and 2 of the World Series. People created signs, many saying, quote, people are not mascots, unquote, and chanting things like, quote, hey, hey, ho, ho, Red Sambo's got to go, unquote. Another way this whole phenomenon has been fought is by a teacher who is lobbying for a change in school with mascots depicting Native people. Debbie White, a resource teacher from the Peel School District in Ontario, Canada, wants schools to shy away from using Indigenous people as mascots, for she and the Indigenous Advisory Committee find it very disrespectful. 2 schools in her district have already changed their mascots, and she plans to attend Elementary Teachers Association of Ontario in hopes of getting other teachers on board. Finally, the last major way this has been fought is by members of the National Congress of American Indians creating a commercial expressing how they feel about the Washington Redskins name. The video has been uploaded to YouTube with the description being, quote, watch the hashtag big game commercial the NFL would never air, unquote. One very easy solution would be to change the names of the teams that people are finding offensive. Sports leagues like the NFL and MLB can take initiative and change names and or logos of the teams that are causing controversy. University of Miami, Ohio changed their names from the Redskins to the Redhawks, and Marquette University in Milwaukee went from being the Warriors with their mascot being an Indian to the Golden Eagles. If they can do it, the NFL and the MLB can too. Some names have been considered to replace the Washington Redskins are the Bravehearts, the Red Tails, the Renegades, and the Pigskins. Also, the Cleveland Indians have already started to distance themselves from the Chief Wahoo logo and have started putting forward more commonly use of the Red Sea. Another option is for Native American tribes to give schools or teams permission to use their names. On June 17, 2005, the Seminole Tribe of Florida gave Florida State University permission to use the tribe's name as their mascot. Ever since then, the school and tribe have been working together to bring more Seminole pride to the Florida State campus. One problem that the protesters are facing is that fans of the teams and leagues like the NFL and MLB don't want to change the names or logos, whether it's because they don't see why it's a problem or because they feel as though the name is part of the team's history. Fans and leagues are pushing to not change the mascot. The MLB went on record to say, quote, given the demands for completing the Major League Championship Series in a timely manner, MLB will defend Cleveland's right to use their name that has been in existence for more than 100 years, unquote. There are also quite a few problems with and limitations to having tribes just giving the okay for teams to use their names as the team's mascot. One being, in order for tribes to give their permission, the team's name/mascot has to be specific to one tribe. While it worked out for the Florida Seminoles, teams like the Redskins would be harder because it isn't specific to one tribe that can give their blessing. They would have to be granted permission by something like the National Congress of American Indians, and from the commercial that NCAI uploaded, it's pretty clear that isn't going to happen anytime soon. As an athlete, I understand the importance of a name and mascot to a team's pride and sense of unity. However, equally as important is the quality of your game and the relationship you have with not only your fans but the greater community you serve. Sports is a form of entertainment that is meant for everyone's enjoyment. Teams have an obligation to all their fans to project a positive and supportive image and not exclude any. Thank you.